If you rarely touch a drop of alcohol but still struggle with stubborn belly fat and chronic exhaustion, you are likely part of a silent global epidemic. Right now, 1 in 4 adults is walking around with a liver that looks exactly like a heavy drinker's. The diet industry has told you for decades to eat 6 small meals a day to keep your metabolism humming. But clinical biology reveals that this constant grazing is actually marbling your liver with toxic music fat, suffocating your cells, and locking your weight permanently in place. But your body has an amazing built-in rescue system. In this video, you'll discover the 5 stages your liver moves through hour by hour during a fast. You'll see exactly when your body flips the switch from storing fat to burning it off your internal organs, and why this ancient process is the most powerful tool for liver health. In the first 4 hours after a meal, your liver is in full processing mode. Whatever you ate, breads, fruits, rice, pasta, gets broken down into glucose, which floods your bloodstream. Your pancreas notices the rising sugar, music, and pumps out insulin. Insulin is basically the messenger that tells your body store this energy. Your liver, music, listens, scoops glucose from your blood, and packs it into a storage form called glycogen. Think of glycogen as a battery your liver charges up after every meal. But insulin does something else too. As long as it's circulating in high amounts, fat cannot leave your fat cells. Not from your belly, not from your liver, not from anywhere. Fat stays locked away. This is normal after eating. The trouble starts when people eat constantly. Breakfast, mid-morning snack, lunch, afternoon coffee with a muffin, dinner, late-night ice cream. Insulin barely has a chance to come down. Fat keeps getting deposited but never gets withdrawn. That's how a fatty liver builds up over years without you realizing. Between hours 4 and 8, things start to shift. Insulin levels finally drop, and another hormone called glucagon takes the stage. Glucagon is insulin's opposite. It tells your body to release stored energy. Your liver, which has about 100 grams of glycogen on hand, around 400 calories worth, begins breaking that glycogen down to keep your blood sugar steady. This stored energy can usually carry you for 8 to 12 hours, depending on how active you are. This is where you might feel the first whispers of hunger. Maybe a little tired, slightly cranky, harder to focus on a spreadsheet. That's all normal. Your body is recalibrating. If you feel actually unwell, dizzy, shaky, heart pounding, that's a different story. And you should eat. But for most healthy adults, this stage passes quickly, and what comes next is genuinely exciting. The real magic begins after the 8th hour, and this is what almost no one talks about. Between hours 8 and 12, your liver flips a switch. With glycogen running low, it has to find another fuel source, so it turns to music fat. Fatty acids start streaming out of your fat cells, traveling to your liver, and getting converted into something called ketones. Ketones are a clean, alternative fuel that your brain, heart, and muscles can run on. Many scientists now believe ketones are actually a smoother fuel for the brain than glucose. There's no spike, music, no crash, just steady output. This is the metabolic switch researchers keep referring to. You've gone from running on the food you just ate to running on the fat already stored on your body, including the fat sitting inside your liver. Growth hormone also starts climbing during this window. A 2024 clinical trial out of China followed 60 adults practicing alternate-day fasting for 8 weeks. By the end, their growth hormone levels had roughly doubled. Ketone production climbed sharply after the 12-hour mark, and their liver fat dropped by 12% on imaging scans. Growth hormone protects your muscle tissue, which is why short fasts don't waste away your muscles, the way crash diets do. You might notice your hunger fades around the 10 or 12-hour mark. That sounds backward, but it's a well-documented effect. Once ketones start flowing, the urgent hunger signals quiet down. Some people notice their breath smells slightly fruity or metallic. That's because a small amount of ketones leave through your lungs. It's your body's way of telling you the switch worked. Mental clarity often sharpens too. No food coma, no afternoon slump, just steady focus. That's just the warm-up. The next stage is where your liver starts doing something almost unbelievable. Between hours 12 and 18, a process called autophagy kicks into high gear. The word comes from Greek and roughly means self-eating. It sounds disturbing, but it's actually one of the most beautiful systems your body has. When food isn't coming in, your cells start looking inward for resources. Music. They scan themselves for damaged proteins, broken parts, and cellular junk. They wrap up these damaged components and ship them off to tiny recycling stations inside the cell. There, the broken pieces get torn apart, music, and reused to build new, healthy structures or burned for fuel. In your liver specifically, there's music, a special version of this called lipophagy, which targets fat droplets inside the liver cells. These are the same fat droplets that build up in fatty liver disease. During a fast, lipophagy literally pulls these fat droplets apart and converts them into usable energy. This is the actual mechanism by which fasting clears fat from inside your liver. Not magic, not detox tea, not a juice music cleanse. Just a process your body has been quietly carrying around for millions of years. A 2024 randomized trial in Iran put 80 patients with fatty liver disease on a 16-hour fasting schedule for 12 weeks. ALT enzymes fell by 15 units, and the markers music for lipophagy were measurably elevated. Some people notice their skin starts looking clearer after a few music weeks of consistent fasting. Others say the puffiness around the upper belly begins shrinking. That's not just fat under the skin disappearing. The liver itself is downsizing as fat leaves it. A fatty liver is an enlarged liver. As it cleans up, it physically returns to a healthier shape. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Between hours 18 and 24, your liver moves into deep repair mode. Two key enzymes called ALT and AST live inside your liver cells. When the liver is stressed or damaged, these enzymes leak into your blood. Doctors check them to see how your liver is doing. High levels mean trouble. A 2023 meta-analysis, pulling together 16 randomized trials with more than 100 participants, found music that intermittent fasting consistently lowered ALT and AST by 5 music to 10 units, improved insulin resistance scores, and dropped triglycerides across the board. Music. The strongest results showed up in people who were overweight or already dealing with fatty liver. That means inflammation is calming down and the liver cells are recovering. Your liver has a power that no other internal organ has. It can fully regenerate itself. Surgeons can remove up to 70% of a liver, and the remaining piece will grow back to nearly its original size within months. Think about that. While you're sleeping, while you're walking around, while you're skipping breakfast, your liver may quietly be rebuilding itself piece by piece. Insulin sensitivity also improves with regular fasting. Remember, high insulin locks fat inside your liver. When you fast music consistently, your cells become more sensitive to insulin, which means your body produces less of it. Less insulin means more music freedom for fat to leave your liver and stay gone. It becomes a positive loop, each fast making the next one more effective. Music. After several weeks of consistent practice, many people notice their waistline shrinks. Their afternoon energy stays steady instead of crashing, and music, their blood test numbers, things like triglycerides, cholesterol, and music, fasting glucose, start moving in the right direction. The relationship with food often shifts too. Cravings get quieter, meals taste better, you feel satisfied with less. But here's what matters most. How you break your fast can either undo the work or lock it in. When you eat after fasting, insulin rises again and your liver switches back into music storage mode. But it has a priority list. It refills glycogen first before turning excess energy back into fat. Music. that gives you a window where eating doesn't immediately reverse your progress. If you break a fast with a giant plate of fries, sugary drinks, and dessert, music, you overwhelm the system, and the leftover energy gets packed right back into the liver as fat. Music. The smarter move is to break your fast with something balanced, some protein, some vegetables, maybe a healthy fat. Eat slowly, your stomach has been resting, and you'll likely feel full faster than you expect. So, what's the big takeaway here? Your liver isn't fragile. It's actually one of the most resilient and intelligent organs in your body. It knows how to clean itself, repair itself, and even rebuild itself. It just needs the right conditions to do that work. Constant eating denies it those conditions. Strategic gaps between meals open the door. Intermittent music fasting isn't a trick or a hack. It's giving your body the same kind of music break that humans went through naturally for thousands of years before music refrigerators, drive-thrus, and 24-hour grocery stores existed. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever tried intermittent fasting, music even by accident? What surprised you most while watching this? The fact that 1 in 4 adults has fatty liver without knowing it? Or that your liver can literally rebuild parts of itself? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this gave you something useful, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep music dive.